Hello, my name is Catalina, and today I will be talking about the lack of access to education for women. This is a topic I believe that should be discussed more and paid attention more to. In many developed countries, there has been a rise of educated women, also a large amount of underdeveloped nations that suffer from lack of women in education. This affects the women in these countries and the world. On DAL.gov in 2012, there was a 6.8% of women who attained less than a high school diploma compared to men with only 10%. There is also a 25.5% of women with the lack of high school diploma and no college compared to men with only 29.4%. Because the lack of education, getting a job will be hard, thus having a high unemployment rate. In 2012, the unemployment for women from the ages of 16 to 24 was 12.1%. I was expecting the unemployment rate to be higher, but it wasn't. Having an education in life will play an important role to prove one's financial and economic status. In the Middle East and North Africa, education has been improving, but there is still work to be done as girls are excluded from education in low poverty regions. There are still girls enrolled in school but don't learn enough to be prepared for the job market, making it hard to find a job. Access to secondary and higher education is limited, and the quality of education given is often too low. Illiteracy is highest among women. By average of 42% of girls are illiterate. The number of people over the age of 15 that are illiterate is 50,057 compared to men with only 26,671. As you can see, that is a big amount of difference between women who are illiterate. Having an education can be a key to reduce poverty. In more than 20 developing countries, 70% of women are illiterate because they are most likely to go to school and not finish. Educated women and girls are less vulnerable to get HIV infections, human trafficking, and other factors of exploitation, and are more likely to marry, have children in life. In developing low-income countries, an additional year of education can increase a person's future income by 10%. Child marriage is also a big major reason why girls drop out of school. There is a 60% dropout, and it is estimated that 15 million girls are married before turning 18. After they leave the education system, they are more likely to live in poverty. One of the main reasons women or girls don't go to school is because it is too costly. Even if one applies for financial aid, it can still be very expensive, especially if one is a single parent or has a big family to raise. A semester alone can cost up to $15,000, let alone a year. Having kids and going to school at the same time and having a job can be very hard. With child daycare being expensive, sometimes one can't afford it, and sometimes one has to apply for child assistance or other government assistance. This can be difficult for some women, especially if they don't have any support system in their life, such as a family to help them or their spouse to help them. Having no degree limits one's availability for finding a good job. With minimum wage being around $7 to $9 an hour, this makes it hard for them to support themselves. Having kids or having a family will make it more difficult, thus going to school might not be an option for one. Minorities face the greatest challenge today. They have burdens on discrimination based on their ethnicity, restrictive traditional roles, such as being a stay-at-home mom and taking care of the household and raising the children. For women, in most cases, just the poverty they live in and face through work. Girls from minority groups often live in remote geographic locations, making it hard for girls to go to school since they have to walk a long distance just to get to the nearest school. Because of school being far, this can double the risk girls or women face to their personal security. This is invisible in the education policy because of the lack of data and analysis that's been collected. In many countries, there are regions where women need permission from a male relative, usually a father or a husband. They need permission for employment, requesting loans, starting a business, traveling, etc. Because of this, it makes it hard for women or girls to even go to school. That's why families have a greater investment in education for boys rather than girls. America has the best college and universities. But due to the tuition and fees, it makes it difficult for others who can't afford to go to school. Today, with students taking out loan, they can rack up debt. Education financially affects those who try to go to school. In most developing countries, schools are not free. The families have to pay for books, uniforms, even for the teachers. Efforts should be made to improve education. There should be action taken. Policies and programs should be involved to ensure these are met with measurable results. The government needs to make an effort to ensure education is accessible to low-income families. Education can reduce poverty, crime, and other factors. All girls and women should have access to education. In the United States, tuition should be decreased, making it affordable for families to be able to go to school and get an education. Women need to be also equally paid as men in the workforce.